Alright, hello guys, how's it going? In today's video, we're going to be talking about the upcoming very cold pattern that we're going to get ourselves into because of many teleconnections. We're going to go over all of this throughout this video. Now, before I get started with this video though, I would ask that you do subscribe if you do like weather-related content, and also make sure to share this video with your friends, family, and social media. I'd also ask that you check out our very exciting Patreon page in the description and the pinned comment down below. Alright, now for today's comment of the day, I want to know, what is the perfect outdoor temperature? So let us know in the comments down below. Give us a reason why that's your favorite temperature, and I'll be picking one of those for tomorrow's video. Alright, now let's get into this video, and as you can see, we're taking a look actually at this morning, early this morning. And as you can see, especially for the East Coast, the cold has not really arrived unless you're in the upper Midwest, the Ohio Valley, Great Lakes, or the very far interior northeastern United States. If you are in those regions, you already are in the purples and you're already dealing with these below normal temperatures throughout, well, first off, throughout the day yesterday, but especially today as well. But let's move it towards this afternoon, and as you can see, from this morning to this afternoon, there's a huge difference. The East Coast is now in those darker blues and purples, which is where you're about 4 to maybe 12 degrees below average. The Ohio Valley is also getting more and more purple all the way down to the Gulf Coast. It's going to really cool down here for the eastern United States. We've been talking about this for about a week now on the channel, so this isn't a surprise. But actually, the pattern after this cool down is what's really surprising to me. We're going to talk all about that coming up. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to move on and we're going to take a look at Saturday afternoon, take a look at the actual temperature, which is going to be tomorrow from the time I'm making this video. And then we're going to start taking a look at teleconnections, the Arctic Oscillation, the North Atlantic Oscillation, and then the Pacific North American Oscillation, and how those ones are really going to change and move towards a colder pattern. Alright, now we're taking a look at Saturday afternoon, which is going to be tomorrow from the time I'm making this video. We see widespread purples. The important thing to notice here is we're going to be talking about the 18th through about the 25th, maybe even into October a little bit, talking about that. If you're taking a look at below average temperatures now, your average temperature might be 75 degrees. So if it's 5 degrees below average, you're only looking at 70 degrees. But by the time we're talking about October 5th, your average temperature is probably 70, so you've probably gone down by 5 degrees. Well, then all of a sudden you're talking about 65 degrees if we're talking about 5 degrees below average. It's important to remember the relationship between your average temperature and then comparing that using these temperature anomalies on the model. You have to know that your average temperature is going down probably by 1 degree every 2 or 3 days this time of year. So 5 degrees below average on September 18th isn't quite as cold as 5 degrees below average on October 5th. I hope that makes sense. Now, like I said, here's the actual temperature for Saturday on September 19th, around 18 Z, which is usually around the high temperature of the day. As you can see, we're going to have some pretty wide areas of 50s up there for the upper Midwest, portions of the Great Lakes, and the northern Ohio Valley, I would say, as well as the interior northeastern United States. We see central Pennsylvania, 59 degrees, also upstate New York, Vermont, almost all of Vermont. We even see some greens, which is indicating some lower 50s. Very interesting to see that there. 60s widespread throughout the yellow regions, so up and down the East Coast until you get to about South Carolina. That's quite chilly for you guys. 65 in Georgia, 69 in South Carolina as a high temperature. Almost all of North Carolina is in 60s. This is like late October type pattern right here, and we're seeing it in the middle portion of September. Very interesting. We're way ahead of schedule with the cold. Now what we're going to do is we're going to move on and we're going to take a look at our teleconnections, like I said, our AO, our NAO, and our PNA. Take a look at how those are going to impact our pattern moving forward. Alright, now first things first, here's our AO, and this one in a positive phase would mean warmer than normal temperatures for most of the United States. In a negative or neutral phase, we usually see some cold air be able to infiltrate its way down from the Arctic regions. This is the creator of Arctic blasts, if you will. Technically, any cool down that comes from the Arctic region is an Arctic blast, but I'm not going to use that terminology here because I don't think it's quite cold enough to really be using that wordage here. If it was, 40s and 30s, well then absolutely I would, but not in this case. As you can see, around September 23rd or 24th, we're going to go from being pretty far positive to neutral or negative. All the way through the end of the run there on October 3rd. That's significant because, again, right now we're in a positive phase and we're still seeing that cold air, but it's going to become more favorable for cold air as we move on later on. Now here's your North Atlantic oscillation. You can probably notice this one doesn't look much different than the AO actually, but these usually have they correlate with each other a bit, so you usually do see them show similar things. And as you can see, again, we're in a pretty positive phase on this one, but similar to the AO on the 22nd, 23rd, 24th, we're going to lower into a negative phase. And this one in a positive phase would usually encourage warmer than normal temperatures in the eastern United States, and in a negative phase, colder than normal temperatures in the eastern United States. And this one, again, like I said, is going into a negative phase, just like the AO. When those two are negative together, that's usually a key signal that we're going to be taking a look at some colder temperatures in the eastern United States. And here's our PNA. In this one is the opposite. In a positive phase, you see colder than normal temperatures in the eastern United States. In a negative phase, you see warmer than normal temperatures in the eastern United States. As you can see, we're in a positive phase right now. We're going to dip negative just a tiny bit for the 20th, 21st maybe. But then we're going to go strongly positive there for the 21st, 22nd, 23rd. Maybe dip a little bit closer to negative and then positive again. So we're going to be in a positive phase of this for the rest of September with the exception of a few dates there. Again, another signal encouraging colder than normal temperatures for the eastern United States. Okay, with that being said, we're going to move on in just a moment, take a look at Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and just move on in that fashion, take a look at the temperature pattern coming up. Now, it's important to note that was based on the European ensemble model. The model we're using here is the GFS model, so you're going to get a little bit of a difference, and I think I agree more with the European model because they're both showing the teleconnections do these, but the GFS is not handling it correctly, if you ask me. So let's take a look. So Sunday afternoon, still taking a look at those far below normal temperatures for most of the eastern United States. Same story on Monday, September 21st, maybe even a little bit colder there on Monday, but you can see some warm air racing towards the upper Midwest into the Great Lakes as well. By the time we're at Tuesday, September 22nd, we still see the colder than normal temperatures down there for the Deep South, the South Central, the Southeast, but the Great Lakes, the Ohio Valley are starting to warm up. And this is right around the time where we're seeing the positive PNA, negative AO, negative NAO. It's just not adding up to me. And then by the time we're at September 27th, this is what this model is showing. When we see the strongly negative NAO, AO, and then the strongly positive PNA, perfect pattern for cold in the east. This model says, nope, complete opposite of what those teleconnections would indicate. Is this possible? Absolutely. I've seen it before. I've seen the teleconnections say one thing, and then on the surface, it just does not come together. But the likelihood of this being correct is pretty far out. And as we can see by October 1st, it kind of comes back to its senses, in my opinion, as we see the negative NAO and AO still by the time we're reaching early October and the positive PNA. The cold temperatures do return. And again, remember, on October 1st, these below normal temperatures are going to mean a lot more than they do here on September 18th. Overall, it does look like a colder pattern for the coming period of time. So, late September, early October, based on teleconnections and the models, for the most part, do show colder than normal temperatures during that time frame, with a few exceptions of some warmer patterns, especially on the GFS. What we're going to do here is we're going to move on, and we're going to take a look at the CFS weekly forecast and just take a look at that one, and then we're going to take a look at the 6 to 10 day temperature probability outlook by the Climate Prediction Center. All right, now here we are taking a look at the CFS forecast for the 17th through the 24th of September. Very cold pattern here for the eastern United States. Very warm pattern out west. Again, due to a positive PNA, negative AO, negative NAO. When those three things come together, it's absolutely cold in the east. And this is what we didn't have last winter. I know I've said this so many times this year. The AO never even dipped negative last winter, and that's why it was a torch the whole time. You might have noticed it never really got cold until April, May, June. Guess what happened in April, May, June? Negative AO. So hopefully that helps you kind of understand how big of a difference that teleconnection makes. It's unpredictable as well. That's the difficult part with seasonal and monthly forecasts. You can't really tell what it's going to do even 15 to 30 days out. So that one's kind of a question mark. We usually have to use other teleconnections that are easier to forecast far out, like sea surface temperatures, things like that. The AO is a pressure type teleconnection, so it really is difficult to forecast. All right, let's move it to the next 7 day period, 24th through the 1st. And again, this model showing some warmer than normal temperatures up north. Still cold for the southeast and the south central, but again, warm up north. With the teleconnections set up the way they are, I find that hard to believe. And then it kind of comes back to its senses similar to the GFS here for the 1st of October through the 8th of October. Cold for the southeast and generally near normal for New England, although it's a little bit yellow, so maybe a degree above average or so. Same story for the Great Lakes. Not really going to feel that. I would say near normal, to say the least, but definitely below normal temperatures there for the southeast, and then far above normal temperatures out there in the west. This would indicate a far positive PNA for sure, and it's going to be hard to predict what the AO or the NAO would be like by this point. So we're going to have to wait and see as we move forward. I'll probably make a video similar to this as by time we get, near October, probably October 1st, something like that. Here's the 6 to 10 day temperature probability outlook here by the Climate Prediction Center. So this is going to be for the 23rd through the 27th. And again, they kind of have the colder than normal for the southeast and then warmer than normal up there for the upper Midwest. So they're kind of just taking the same thing the GFS is. Anyway, for today's comment of the day, I asked you guys yesterday, how far into the Greek names do you think we will get? And Benjamin Dean said, I think it's very possible we break the 2005 record. And for the record, I just want to mention that we got 6 names into the Greek names in 2005. So if we got 6 or 7 names in, we would officially tie or break the 2005 record. It's looking very likely at this point. We have one more storm to go until we are in Greek names, and then we have the rest of September, and then all of October and all of November in order to just get 6 or 7 named storms. I think it's very likely that that's going to happen, just like Benjamin Dean thinks. So good comment there. Anyway, for today's patron highlight of the day, I want to thank you all for supporting the channel, but especially our diamond patrons, Alicia Davis, Madbirds, Cindy Klein, Dan Hazard, and Mark J, alongside our platinum patron, Donna Carnes. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Again, be sure to share it with your friends, family, and social media. I will see you guys in the next video.